Hello, I'm Eileen McHugh with the BBC News. A rescue effort is continuing in southern Turkey and northern Syria following two powerful earthquakes which have killed more than 3,500 people. Blizzards and nighttime conditions are making it even more difficult to locate and retrieve people trapped under collapsed buildings. Many rescuers have been working with their bare hands. Medical resources are stretched on both sides of the border. Hospitals have little or no power. Mohammed Hamza from the agency Islamic Relief in Syria told the BBC healthcare services are being overwhelmed.
We already started to deliver medical items to our supported health facilities, which are full of injured people and out of our control. Actually, we have more than 4,000 injured and needs an immediate health care.
President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has described the disaster as Turkey's worst since 1939. Anna Foster was one of the first correspondents in the disaster zone and is now in the town of Osmaniye near the epicentre of the first quake.
You can see, frankly, what a devastating picture it is here this evening. It is absolutely pouring with rain, which is really hampering the rescue efforts. There is no power at all in the city tonight. We're still feeling regular aftershocks. We're feeling the tremors on the ground. They are still concerned, as are so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of people here tonight, that there may still be more buildings to collapse. This takes in an absolutely huge area, of which this city is just one snapshot.
The United Nations Secretary-General has called for an international response to the devastating earthquakes. Antonio Guterres said many of the thousands of families worst hit were already in need.
The United Nations is mobilizing to support the emergency response. And so let's work together in solidarity to assist all those hit by this disaster, many of whom were already in dire need of humanitarian aid.
Leaders from around the world have responded with offers of help, but the closure of airports makes getting aid into the area more challenging. Sanctions and years of isolation present obstacles to helping Syria. Despite having no diplomatic relations, Israel says it has agreed to send humanitarian assistance there, although Syria has denied making any request. A group of UN experts has accused Beijing of forcing around 1 million children in Tibet to attend boarding schools to indoctrinate them into China's dominant Han culture. 3 UN rapporteurs say the children are separated from their families and taught in Mandarin. Tibetan language, history and culture are ignored. The experts said the aim was to assimilate the youngsters into a single national Chinese identity and erode their ethnic background. They said some children were losing the ability to communicate with their relatives. China has not yet commented on the allegations. World News from the BBC. The former president of Georgia, Mikhail Saakashvili, has been told he must remain in prison despite being hospitalized in an apparently critical condition. Mr. Saakashvili was jailed 2 years ago. He claims the charges were fabricated and that toxicology reports show he has been poisoned. The Georgian government insists Mr. Saakashvili is harming himself by refusing to accept medical treatment or to eat. In Argentina, 5 Argentine amateur rugby players have been sentenced to life imprisonment for beating to death a young man outside a nightclub 3 years ago. 3 others were sentenced to 15 years. The murder of Fernando Baez Sosa shocked the country and raised questions about racism and class division in Argentina. The 18-year-old law student was kicked and punched after one of his friends accidentally bumped into one of the rugby players. The victim's family lawyer, Fernando Burlando, said all 8 men should have been sentenced to life in prison and would appeal.
This was premeditated. Everyone had their role. Determining the secondary participation will probably be the easiest way for us to resolve this and in some way find a sense of balance for Fernando's family.
A panel investigating a plane crash in Nepal that killed 72 people last month has found the plane's engine had no thrust motion, meaning no power, in the last leg of its descent. The Yeti Airlines flight from Kathmandu to the tourist town of Pokhara crashed on landing before catching fire, killing everyone on board. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has announced a statewide plan that bans the use of the Chinese-owned social media platform TikTok due to security risks. In December of last year, Governor Abbott banned TikTok from state-owned and issued devices over the Chinese Communist Party's alleged ability to use the application for mounting surveillance on Texans. That will now be applied to personal devices. BBC News.